Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're talking about one of our favorite holiday movies ever, The Polar Express.
This classic holiday film focuses on a young boy who boards a train as it travels to the North Pole on Christmas Eve. Along the way, he becomes friends with other kids aboard the train and tries to uncover the secret behind the Polar Express. Mm-hmm. This is one of the best holiday movies ever made that had to do with Santa Claus and the magic of the whole myth.
Right. And the whole atmosphere of it was really different. It was just incredibly calm. To got those moments where it was really fast paced, like some things would go on with the train, or it was someone on board that shouldn't have been on board. There was a little bit of mystery with it. Mm-hmm. And it stood out from the other holiday movies. It wasn't just pure comedy or slapstick, and it wasn't just drama. It was just supposed to be, I guess, full of wonder.
And it was. Starring the incomparable Tom Hanks in multiple animated roles. Mm-hmm. This movie was directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it came out, if you can believe, in 2004. And when this movie came out, this was animation history being made. It was the first movie ever to be made as a totally digital motion capture movie.
Right.
So
and like you said, by Robert Zemeckis, he had created other motion capture films, but it seems like this was his first and his pretty much only best work, for according to people, because he made movies after this that did very terribly. I think Polar Express was the only movie people seemed to like that he did, because every other movie after seemed to just flop or just not bode well with audiences with how it looks. So great to see that this movie has made its mark and people love it and can remember seeing from the time it came out. We'll still review it and reference it or make mashups of it now because it's that iconic.
Right. This movie, all the elements that are needed for a fantastic cinematic movie were there. I mean, everything was perfect from beginning to end. There was nothing you could look at and go, well, if they had changed this or maybe they shouldn't have done this. There's absolutely nothing in this movie that is, to me, could be criticized. I think it is absolutely flawless. Like Looney Cat says, this is one of the most flawless movies ever. And even some of the adults that were doing actual kids' voices, you thought they were kids until you saw the credits and you found out they were adults.
Like one of them was Mandark. Ha 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 ha. He was the know-it-all kid. Like, oh, that fits.
Yes.
And another thing that sticks out is that except for the two guys that shovel coal to make the train go, nobody had names.
Correct.
Nobody had character names. When you go on Wikipedia or look at a cast, they're listed as Hero Boy, Hero Girl, Conductor, Santa Claus, of course, Santa Claus, an elf, Little Boy, Know-It-All Kid, Hobo.
Right.
No one had names. You never knew their names. They never told each other their names. They just said, oh, that kid, or that Know-It-All Kid. They never tell you their names, and it's never revealed who they really are. So you're just given a base. You're just knowing the character. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to how well this was written. You didn't even need names. They were memorable just as they were. So, in case there's someone who has not seen the Polar Express, which is all possible since it came out in 2004.
Right.
Let's tell them a little bit of background on the story itself.
Well, it starts off with Hero Boy and the sister celebrating Christmas, but he kind of wonders if Santa, really exists. And one night on Christmas Eve, here's this giant rumbling sound, thinking, oh, it's an earthquake or something. And no, this giant train that travels from town to town, and they pick up kids. And no, don't get the wrong idea, okay? It's this family movie. They just pick up these kids, and they're given little tickets, and they get to take a trip to the North Pole. And at first, you're thinking, like, oh, they should know. It's like something in it, like they know what's to be done here. And they just, all these kids that want to see Santa, they go through all these towns, they pick them up.
And also, they point out there are kids who are doubting the validity of Santa Claus.
Right.
Each kid has their thing that they need to learn.
Right. And then they'll get a different thing on their ticket that that's specific for them. And you wonder, are they gonna get back? And they always tell them like, you'll be back on Christmas Day before your parents know, and you'll be safe. So they take this ride on the train, all these kids from all over the world, and then the train travels from these cities all the way through the Arctic to the North Pole, which is this giant city full of elves and
Northern
Santa.
Lights.
Right, and it was really creatively done. And along the way, of course, they have bumps in the roads. They have one point where they're shifting on the ice and they might lose control of the train. There's a bunch of deer on the ice that shouldn't be on the ice, and they had to communicate with the deer to get them off. They have the famous scene where they had the waiters with the hot cocoa song. That was their meal, I guess. Like, that's all you need. It's only one night. And of course, you had the kids that wanted to look around on the train, but they were, don't wander everywhere, because one was so big and easy for them to get lost, and two, you don't know what was back there.
Right. And on top of this brilliant story with this wonderful cast of voice actors, it was beautifully done. I mean, it's just beautiful. The animation is absolutely gorgeous, and especially when they get to the North Pole and those northern lights, and just you see the stark white of the snow, and you see the beautiful lights across the sky and the stars, and it's just beautiful. And you're breathtaking with the animation and how they put such detail into the environment and the nature. And the detail. I mean, if you look at the detail of the children, the hair, and you look
even
at
for motion capture first time, still
the details of the train. I mean, you can look, and everything looks real. It looks live. It doesn't look like you're watching an animated movie. It looks real.
And maybe that was the point.
For some people, I think it made them uncomfortable.
Yes.
But it wasn't creepy like Mars Needs Moms. This was not creepy.
Yeah,
it was beautifully done. Perfect.
Right. Now, I will say there's no criticism of Polar Express. Yeah, they point out the animation was weird, but they don't say, it looked like just creepy and disturbing like the other movie. It was the first time, but they made it to where it didn't look so off-putting. And I think it looked, like you said, it looked real, so no one ever said anything about this movie.
Maybe that's part of what went wrong for Zemeckis with the rest of the movies. He should have stuck with the formula that worked for Polar Express and taken that formula and used it to create the other movies, regardless of the genre, whether it was comedy, action, or whatever. If he had stuck with the formula and exactly how he made this first movie, I think every movie he did after with that same motion capture would have been a hit, including with the writing, the telling of the story, the realness of everything about it, and how it connected with the audience.
Right.
And that was a real big part of what makes Polar Express a joy to watch. It doesn't matter what age you are, you connect with some aspect of this film. And it means something to you on a personal level, and you have fond memories, no matter how old you are, of holidays and what the aspect of Santa Claus has meant in your life. It was just beautiful. He should have stuck with the formula.
Right, because by the end of the movie, you know that he truly believes in Santa Claus. I mean, you just went through a whole train and got to see him before he takes off on his sleigh. And you think, was it a dream? Like, no, because, it was just incredible. Like, what kid wouldn't want to see that? Whether you believed or not, who wouldn't want to see that?
And the last aspect for me is that it was fun. It was fun in ways you didn't expect. And you just now, at your age, you just can't stand musical numbers. But in this one, you loved it. And you were really, really little. And when you first saw this, and you loved the musical numbers that are in it. There are several. And they work. Again, everything is just had been gauged and planned perfectly. And this is just a flawless movie.
Right. Oh, and we can't forget the other people in here, like Del Sabera, I think, a.k.a. Generator Rex.
And Nona Gay is actually Marvin Gaye's daughter.
You got Jimmy Bennett, Eddie Dezen, and then Tom Hanks, who played just about every other adult in there. So, so he definitely got. That's why his is on the front one, because he was the most important. He had the one with the most roles.
This was a great opportunity for Castle Rock to come out with something that was unique, and they took a chance in producing this film. And you had a couple others with this: Shangri-La Entertainment, Image Movers, Playtone,
right,
and Warner Brothers Pictures through their sister company Golden Mean.
Right.
It was again just brilliant,
and plus the iconic landmark is left. Besides for the actors, for the actors, two of them, there's one that plays the hero girl is Tinashe, who sang a song in there that When Christmas Comes to Town, and it's one of the most memorable songs of the movie, and she actually became famous for singing the song and having the role in the movie.
Okay.
And then this was the last role by Michael Jetters, who voiced a character in here, and this was his last role before he passed away. Jeter.
And it was, which is most important to studios, it was a box office success. It took $165 million to make this brilliant piece of art. And at the box office alone, and again, this is 2004, it garnered over $310 million.
Right.
And during that time, this was just unheard of.
Right.
For an animated movie. Especially a holiday animated movie that for some reason was put out a few days before Halloween, and it had to do with Christmas to be this successful.
Right, so that was just like mind-blowing, because usually they want to put out horror movies, spooky movies, silly, scary ones, thriller, something that fits with the month, but to see that this film stood out and it did better than the Halloween movies, yeah, it's just like, what the fish?
It was brilliant. Absolutely a brilliant move. There's so many things that I could keep saying about this movie.
Right.
There's just so many great things I could say. Also, Peter Scolari is the lonely boy. So again, you had adults who were doing the voices, but they didn't sound like adults. They really sounded like kids.
Right. And sometimes they did the motion capture for them if they wanted to do specific scenes. Sometimes the adults would do the capture, and sometimes kids would do the capture depending on what they were doing. So everyone had an opportunity to play a character or dual roles.
So there also were some historic landmarks that were animated and architectural history in this movie. Again, it was just... This was a labor of love. It clearly was a labor of love. It clearly was something that he really, really cared about, telling this story and having it be perfect in every way it could be. And it was.
Right.
It absolutely was. And we still watch this movie every holiday season. We still watch The Polar Express.
Right.
And it's like we've never seen it before. And it's such joy in waiting for each of the different scene changes to come.
Right.
It's a joy... the characters, of course, Tom Hanks, and it's going to be a very long time before I ever get tired of this film.
Right, because it's so iconic. Even Dudley did a version of his own, and it was just so neat because I remember as soon as I see the cast video, I remember watching the movie, and it's like, oh my gosh, look at who they have playing this one, who he has playing this one. Of course, he's the conductor, so, but still... Anytime you see anyone make a mashup for this, immediately think of the movie, and you love seeing the movie so much, you don't care who does it, you just want to see how they do the roles because you love it so much.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky, and some member of Rascal Family may do a version of the Polar Express.
Yeah, besides Dudley, right. So,
and just in case you haven't seen his version, we'll attach a card so that you can click it.
Or put it in the description too, so.
Yeah, and take a look at it yourself. So, thank you for joining us for this wonderful trip down memory lane for the Polar Express. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll get a visit from the conductor to take you on a life-changing trip.
So, thank you for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? My man it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.